All right, well, good afternoon. It's good to see everyone. Just a final discussion on Oklahoma and then moving on to Western Carolina. But I want to start off first and foremost as the head football coach. I am responsible for the losses, and I take responsibility. Everyone in our football program was extremely disappointed, and everyone in our organization needs to continue to improve and learn from the experiences that we had, not only from Saturday night, but through the week leading up to it and our effort and our preparation. And we must continue to move forward and make great strides. Although it was a tough loss, I'm encouraged of the progress that we're making and the positives. And I will tell you this, as a caretaker of Tennessee football, I refuse to allow any negativity to creep in or around our football program. We have way too much positive going on, and we have to get some things corrected. We'll work immediately to get those items corrected and then continue to move forward. But I think just like in life, everything is how you look at it. Everything is how you perceive things. A year ago, we played this football team, and we were non-competitive. I believe we had minus 17 or 19 yards rushing into the third quarter. And with most of a returning team by a very, very good Oklahoma football team and a talented defense, we went to double overtime. And we came up one play short. We were one play away from victory. And like we tell our players, 2 to 3 plays can define a game. 4 to 6 plays can define a season. I thought we probably had 8 to 10 plays that defined this game. And we really lost the game from the 40-yard line in, of not being able to take advantage of the field position. Obviously, the fourth quarter, that'll be a point of emphasis like it is every week, but it'll be even more of a point of emphasis. But it's a long season. When this journey ventured, we spoke as a football team, and it's part of the competitive nature of our football team now is that we will be in a lot of close games. There are going to be a lot of games that take on this personality in moving forward. Where we haven't been competitive in the past, we're competitive now. And that's progress. We're working there. We get there. We expect to win immediately. We expect to win every time we step onto the football field. But it's a week-to-week season. We talk about a snap and clear mentality, and we're going to learn from it. We're going to move on, and we're going to get ready to play our best game versus Western Carolina. We have a great group of young men. They take great pride in their performance. We have very good coaches that will put our players in positions to be successful. Then they have to go make the plays. But although it's disappointing, we're moving on because I did think we made progress, and I take full responsibility for Saturday night. Western Carolina comes in really dynamic on offense. I think they have a really, really good quarterback in Mitchell. He manages their offense, very athletic, can extend plays. They challenge you schematically with all their run-pass conflicted plays. And it's going to challenge your discipline. It's going to challenge your eye discipline. And they can throw the ball and they can run the ball. They're a spread offense, up-tempo. So, again, it's something we've faced the last couple weeks defensively. Very, very active. I think they have a very, very good front. And I think this is a really well-coached football team. And we're looking to get win number 2, and we're looking to be a better football team this week. That's why this week is paramount. So I'll answer any questions you may have.
John, what you said you know a lot more once you looked at the film, particularly what happened offensively in the second half. What did you see when you went back and looked at the film, and then how much we push competition
Right.
on the right side of the offensive line?
Well, we'll continue to push competition. And just like we do every week, you have to earn your right to play through your practice. You have to earn the right to play through your body of work, through your week of preparation, and not just on the field, but off the field. In your numerous tests that you have as position groups and power of the position, you earn the right to play. In terms of the second half, particularly in the fourth quarter, wasn't anything magically they did. Everyone wants to talk about great halftime adjustments. You have a scheme, and you stick to your scheme. But they're a very, very talented football program, a very talented football team, and a very talented defense. And when you're down by 14 points in the middle of the fourth quarter, you bring more pressure. They just brought more pressure than they did the first half, and I think a lot of that dictated the situation. And we had situations where we had one-on-one matchups. We had, you pause the film and you got a great play here, and one of their players makes a great play, and I think it kind of snowballed a little bit in terms of that. But you learn from it, you move on, and we have to learn how to close games out. You get a team in the fourth quarter, you're playing at home, you go up by 7 points. I thought our team showed some great resiliency. They had all that negative things that happen in the fourth quarter, but yet we score and go up by 7 points in overtime. I think that speaks volumes about our character. But now we got to close the game out, and we're one play away from doing it, and unfortunately we weren't able to do that. And you learn from it and you move on.
Butch, moving forward, I know you have Western Carolina coming up next, but obviously the SEC schedule is 2 weeks away. Is Colton Jumper still your best middle linebacker, best guy to go into the SEC schedule with?
Well, just like every position, when John brought up the right side of the offensive line, it'll be every position group, and there'll be competition there. And he's done some very good things, but we can continue to need productivity from our Mike linebacker, and just like every week, they're going to have to compete for the position, and the individual who has the best week of preparation and practice will be the one who runs out with the first unit. And to me, that's healthy. You want competition. If you're a competitor, you want competition each and every day, because that's how you grow, that's how you develop, and that's how you mature.
Coach, Dobbs was 13 for 31, 125 yards. What do you do moving forward to fix the passing game?
It starts again, everyone, last week we talked about our pass defense, and I talked about all 11 individuals working together as one. The throw game is exactly the same. It starts up front with pass protection. It starts at the running back position as well, the tight end position, and then also, on the perimeter, and being able to defeat man-to-man coverage and be able to defeat tight coverage and creating separation and all the things that go into being a very efficient throw team and taking advantage of your matchups. We still had too many drops. We had drops at critical moments in the game, and that's all what it takes to play winning football. The disappointing thing is the penalties. That's the most penalized we've been since we've been here. I believe we had 10. That's inexcusable. I believe 3 of them extended drives, particularly in the fourth quarter. We can't allow that to happen. We had pre-snap penalties. And when you play a good football team like Oklahoma, everything you do is magnified, from your technique, your fundamentals, your details, to all that. You get exposed a little bit. So that's when we talk about playing winning football. Winning is fragile, and we can't be a team that beats itself. And we had way too many negative yardage football plays. John, the other thing you asked about the second half is we had way too many negative yardage football plays. We got the ball first down, and I believe in the fourth quarter on the 28-yard line going in, and we lose 12 yards off the bat. Well, every offense is going to struggle to recover from that. We had way too many negative yardage plays and pre-snap penalties, and we take pride in that.
Dustin and then John Bryce.
Coach, what do you know about Kurt Magid at this point? What's his status physically?
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up. Kurt Magid right now is a hip injury. He will be out. It'll be an extended period of time. I still don't know to the extent of how long it will be. He's in the process right now of going through the evaluation process. So I should know a little bit more probably by the end of the week. But he will be out for an indefinite period of time. And just a true freak injury. It's probably the freakish injury I've ever been a part of. We were in punt safe, and he just went to avoid a guy, and he hurt his hip. So that's unfortunate, and we all know what Kurt means to us, not only just from a leadership standpoint and a character standpoint, but from a productivity standpoint as well. So we feel for him. So I'll know a little bit more on his status as the week moves forward. Ladero McNeil has been cleared to play, so he'll be full go in practice today. It'll be great to have him back. And the other injuries that the individuals that had to sit out last week, Max Arnold and Ralph David Abernathy will also be out this week.
John,
Butch, following up again on the second half stuff, did they pressure one side of the line any more than the other? And then I guess following up on Majit, who do you look for to step up in his place?
It was a combination. It wasn't anything that, again, they hadn't done in the first half. It was more volume of it, and sometimes it was D&D, down and distance predicated. Sometimes hash, and sometimes one side more than the other. So we'll continue to work on that part of it. And what was your next question? Well, Kyle Phillips will have a great opportunity this week in practice and preparation to get game ready. So we'll get him going, and then it'll be pretty much everyone else at that position group. I did think Shai Tuttle playing really his first extensive period of downs in a very meaningful game and hard-fought game. I really liked what he brought to the table. His playing time will increase at D tackle. I thought Khalil McKenzie did some very good things too, really this being his first real live game action. So I think both of those individuals in terms of their volume of repetitions will continue to increase. And we need that. We had defensive linemen taking 85, 90 snaps. That is unheard of in a football game. So there has to be a great sense of urgency from everyone else in our program to have a great week of practice so we can build that depth that we talked about when the season started.
But do you think you got caught up in the heat of the moment at the end of the game when you addressed Eric Stryker, and how would you handle another coach addressing one of your players?
Well, first of all, I think that's overblown, and a Oklahoma game is over with. But I have a tremendous amount of respect for Eric Stryker. I think he's one of the best football players in all of college football, and he plays on great emotion. And it was a compliment to him. I don't know really where any negativity came from that. Told him he's a heck of a player and leave this place with class. And to me, I would respect that if an opposing coach said that to our players. That's one of respecting your opponent. So I have a tremendous amount of respect for Eric Stryker and Coach Stoops and the Oklahoma football program.
John Adams.
Butch, Josh Smith, what are his strengths as a receiver, and how did you assess his play against Oklahoma?
Josh Smith defines resiliency. He's been banged up, he's been hurt, and he just continues to battle. He's very, very quick, very, very competitive, and he wants the football. And he made some difficult catches, and then I thought he did a very good job of run after the catch once he caught the passes. And I know our quarterbacks trust him. And he's one of those individuals that's very, very competitive, has great competitive character, but he's very consistent. And he understands our offense, and he wants to compete. So his character and everything that he stands for gives him an opportunity each and every week.
Steve and Mike Strange.
Last week there were 10 SEC teams in the top 25. This week there seemed to be a little more questions after what happened to y'all, Auburn, Arkansas. Just what do you think of the state of the conference right now? And just going into the race, is it going to be kind of like a war of attrition, or how do you see it shaping up?
I don't think anything's changed. Like I said prior to answering questions, is football is a week-to-week season. And the team that can manage the natural adversities that a long football season brings about are the ones that go to bowl games and win championships. And everyone wants to push that red panic button across the country when something happens with their team. I think we found out Bowling Green's a pretty darn good football team. And again, it's keeping everything in check, staying focused, and just working to be better each and every day, each and every week. And it's winning in college football is hard. Half the teams lose every single week. It's one of the most competitive industries and it's one of the most competitive venues in all of sport. So you have to keep things in perspective, and you have to just keep grinding, we'll stick to those ingredients, and we'll continue to work to be a better football team.
Mike Strange, then Brent, then Paul.
Over here, Butch. Like you mentioned, Bowling Green was obviously a really good offense. How do you think your defense played better from Bowling Green to Oklahoma, if you think that? Because it seemed like they made Oklahoma work even in those fourth quarter drives.
Mike, I thought they improved greatly from week 1 to week 2. When you look at, just the competitive aspect of your opponent across the board, Oklahoma is a really, really good football team. I thought we got back to our style of play. TK helped us with taking the ball away with 2 interceptions. We need to still generate some more turnovers, particularly some balls on the ground. But I thought they gave great effort. I thought our technique, I thought our overall eye discipline improved. We did have some breakdowns in terms of you can't let a quarterback escape the pocket like he did. He was able to extend plays, and it hurt us. We had a couple, defenders come out of coverage a couple times. But again, if you take away the penalties, if we don't give them 3 critical third down conversions with penalties, our defense, I thought, really our defense gave us an opportunity to win the football game. I thought they performed very, very well. They gave great effort, and again, they got back to our style of play and our orange swarm that we talk about. Now we need to continue to grow and elevate that this week.
Brent, Paul, John.
Butch, Alvin got, I think, 4 touches in the game. Did Oklahoma take him away, and is he healthy moving forward? Is he 100% moving forward?
Yeah, Elvin's healthy, and we would have liked to given him the ball more. We had some design throws to get him the football. No, not only in the run game, but the passing game as well. And sometimes the defensive front or the pressure looks dictated whether or not he was getting the football. And then every game has a storyline in and of itself. It has a different flavor. And, Jalen was running the ball well. He was running behind his pads, and it was kind of his style of game. But Elvin's very, very important to our offense, as we all know. And to Elvin's credit, not one mention about it. It's all about the team. He was the first one to greet Jalen on his touchdown run in overtime, and that's him. He's selfless. Everything's about the team. But we will have more plays for him. So it was a little bit of the defenses that we're seeing, having to get out of some looks, and just the temperament of the game as well.
Chuck up here in the front, then Michael Spencer.
Coach,
Chuck.
looks like Todd Kelly's stepping up more and more week after week. What's your comments on that?
It's great to see, and that was needed. And TK gave us a great lift with the 2 interceptions. And again, it's just consistency and performance with him. It's important to him. He works very hard, and we needed that. And I think having him back also, Mike, when you asked about the defense, I think really having TK back there as well, we really benefited from that.
Michael in the back, then Seth Stokes.
Has there been any change in Danny O'Brien's status moving forward?
As of right now, there is no change. As soon as something does happen, we will notify you and we'll let you know. But right now, it's pretty much the same situation as it was last week at this time.
Seth, and then Courtney Lyle.
On the goal line, the first offensive drive, on the 3rd down, Mara in the game, hurt from sideline, hurt from right really well at that point. What was the thought process of falling back at the goal line?
Well, good question. And, Jalen had a number of carries, and so he was winded. So Elvin went into the game, and we have great confidence in Elvin, just like we do Jalen. It was supposed to be a design cutback play, which fits Elvin's style a little bit more, and we just have to do a better job of winning the point of attack. So there was a combination of a couple things, but, no matter which of those 2 backs are in, I have great confidence that they're going to get that 1 yard.
Courtney in the back, then John Bryce.
I saw TK might have taken a hard hit there. Is he okay health-wise? And what specifically about his game changes the way your defense looks when he's out there?
Well, first of all, TK brings a level of stability and intelligence in getting us lined up. And TK has great instincts. And he understands the defense. He understands what we're trying to accomplish. And it's important to him. He invests a lot of time and effort and energy into preparing himself for the games. So he just brings a comfort level, and he's a good football player, and he's always around the football. And that's all instincts. His football instincts kick in. In terms of injuries, he's fine. He'll be at practice today. We don't see any effects from Saturday.
John, then Jimmy Himes, then Paul.
Butch, I know you felt like Saturday night that there maybe were some missed penalties late in the game. Did you see that on film? And if so, do you have any communication with the Big 12 office?
We don't have any communication with the Big 12 office. We still do the typical set criteria that we have with every week, where we will still submit the plays I don't think ever a officiating call costs you, or wins you a football game. I think you have to decide it between the lines, but I will just tell you that it was very disappointing.
Butch, is it harder to bounce back from an emotional win or an emotional loss?
That's a great question. And I think the team dictates it. I think the maturity of a football team dictates it. And, you can never let your previous opponent beat you twice. And that's the maturity of a football team. That's the leadership of a football team. And you have to learn and you have to continue to move on. And I think each football team is different. I've been around teams that when they had an emotional loss, they bounced back and played their best game. And I've been around teams that struggled. And vice versa, coming off a big emotional win as well. But this is where you have to rely on the competitive structure of your program and the character of your program. And I know our kids are hungry to get back at it. I've spoken with most of them, and they're eager and they're ready to go, and they're ready to put all eyes towards Western Carolina. And Western Carolina is the most important game because it's the next game, and that's kind of a program philosophy. That's why I don't ever believe in putting too much stock in one particular game. They all count as one. And as we all know, which I just spoke about, it's hard to win in college football, and you never take winning for granted.
Which you talked a little bit about it earlier, your receivers didn't make the one-on-one plays. Are they getting off press coverage well enough, or I guess why are they not being able to win those matchups?
It's not just on the receivers. There's a number of things that go into it. When we do get press coverage, we need to make sure that we're able to defeat it, whether it's a vertical, a crossing route. But I just think it's a combination. We had guys open and the protection would break down. Then, we had protection and, something happened in the back end. And that's why it's a team game. That's why it takes all 11 individuals working as one. That's power of the unit. And we talk about being 9 strong, 9 positions strong. We talk about being 3 units strong in offense, defense, and special teams. So it's a combination. And they're a talented group. They're a talented group that we face too, and they're going to have their share of success too because of their talent. And I think Mike Stoops does a great job in terms of some schemes, and and they have confidence of their players winning one-on-one matchups just like we do. And we're going to get a lot more one-on-one matchups as the season progresses. We know that, but we have a very, very good core group of wide receivers. They work very hard at it, and I know that we'll do a much better job.
Seth, then Richard in the back, and then 2 more.
You'd mentioned that you had confidence in both backs to pick up the yard. So why the field goal instead of
Right.
letting them try it again and then making, if you miss it, they have to go 99 yards.
Right. And Seth, if I would have went for it and we didn't get it, you'd be asking me the opposite question. Why did you kick the field goal? That's your right. That's your privilege, and that's what makes it a great game. We knew going into the game that we needed points. Points were at a premium. And we needed momentum. We needed confidence. This is a defense that we didn't have much success with the previous year. So to drive the ball down, we felt we needed to come away with points. We do everything based on analytics as well. So nothing is taken by chance. That probably decision about 4 or 5 hours went into that single decision. And you look at it as, if you get it, that's great. But if you don't get it, now the momentum, football is a game of momentum. And Oklahoma established the momentum game in the 4th quarter. Well, we had the momentum early, and you're responsible for creating your own momentum. And we just felt at that early juncture of the game, you come away with points. And if we make one play, in the 4th quarter or what have not, that looks to be a good decision. But we can always second guess. But I don't second guess because I know a lot of diligence and effort went into that decision.
Richard in the back, then Danny Parker.
Coach, what is your confidence level right now with your field goal kicking unit, and what's led to kind of the shaky start with Aaron Medley so far?
Well, first of all, Aaron works very hard at it, and I have the utmost confidence in our kicking unit. I believe in him, as do everyone in our football family. It was still a very, very long field goal. So your percentages of making those, it's 60%, 50-50. I thought Aaron did an outstanding job on his kickoffs. You know, you talk about improvement from week 1 to week 2. I thought that he did a very good job there. So, you know, I think a lot is dictated on the length of the field goal. And, you know, again, that was a difficult field goal. He will make those. He will get better. But we stand behind him, and I have the ultimate faith and trust in him.
Coach, you've played a couple teams that look like they're going to contend for conference championships this year. How much better tested are you right now, 8 quarters in, than some teams that are winning 76-3 and so forth?
I appreciate you bringing that up. I think that helps us. That helps us tremendously. We've played some good football teams. We played 2 very, very good football teams. And you're exactly right. Both are going to challenge to win their conferences. So we're coming out of the gates. Now it's being a healthy football team. It's learning from our experiences, whether positive or negative, and continuing to build upon that. But I think it's challenged us right off the get. We've had no quote-unquote tune-up game. Every game has been very, very challenging, been very difficult, and I expect, you know, Western Carolina to come in here and they're going to expect to win the football game. I think we saw around college football again, if you just look at this past week, you never take winning for granted. Anything and everything can happen, but I do think it's been healthy for our football team. These two teams are very good.
This is obviously another hindsight 2020 question, but I mean, looking back, do you guys feel like you were too conservative on play calling? Do you feel like you guys did what you wanted to do?
We did what we needed to do. Obviously, you start first and foremost with yourself, and just like anything, the power of why and what could you do to be better. You know, could we have done this? Could we have done that? But also, you know, I don't want to say desperation defense, but when you get to the fourth quarter, you're trying to generate turnovers, you're trying to create pressure, and they did an outstanding job, and they won some matchups. But when you look at it, I thought, you know, it's everything about trying to put your players in the right positions. Is there 1 or 2 plays you always second guess, or you look back and say, could I have done this? Yes. You know, it's just like everyone else. Do you take try for 7 points like Seth brought up, or do you go for 3? But that was the right thing to do in our minds. And we executed it, and we got 3 points out of it, and we had a 14-point lead going into the fourth quarter. But I think it's a combination of a lot of things. But we just got to work to get better. I don't know what else to tell you. Execution and all that, and being able to handle, you know, the pressure looks and have confidence in your training. If you know you got 2 individuals outside of you, that the first guy in is going to spike, you know, and you understand that, and you're not caught up in the moment, and you're able to take it down, and then you kick out. And, you know, when you play man coverage, there's no second line of defense. If you break through, you know, it's a home run. It's all or nothing. And we have to do a better job from a play calling standpoint, but also from a technical and an execution standpoint as well when we get man coverage and we get pressure looks.
There was an Oklahoma player who made a gesture to the fans after the game and ended up getting caught on camera. Without commenting on that specifically, I'm just wondering, how difficult is it, and how do you balance telling players to play with passion, play with emotion during the game, yet kind of keep that in check after the game, particularly when you have smartphones all over the place and everything?
Well, I can't comment on that particular situation because I didn't see it, nor do, you know, I'm worried about Western Carolina. But it's an emotional game. These young men invest a lot in this game, and the ebbs and flows of a game and the momentum swings and the emotional swings and all that. And sometimes it's a challenge to keep that all in check, and, you know, not just for the players but everyone involved, because you invest so much. You put, you know, every effort that you have, not only for the game standpoint but in your preparation. But we talk to our players a lot about what it is to represent the University of Tennessee, and all I can tell you is what we talk about is, you know, what you represent on a daily basis. You represent the University of Tennessee and the class that comes along with it, just like every program does. But, you know, you're dealing with 17 to 22, 23-year-old individuals that have a lot of emotion, that invest a lot, and all I can speak on with us is we haven't had those problems, and if we do, I would want you to tell me about it so we could get it corrected.